guys, my name is Bridget and today we're going to be talking about Snow Like Ashes by Sara Raasch. Don't know how to say her last name, I'm assuming it's that way. And I really enjoyed this book and I actually buddy read this with Alex over from the Book Buzz, so you should definitely go check her out if you haven't, and I'll link her channel down below. It was just a lot of fun to read it with her. There are 4 kingdoms which are each of the seasons, and then there are 4 other kingdoms which go through all the seasons, and they're called rhythm kingdoms. And basically winter has fallen because spring has attacked it and basically just demolished it. This book is about a girl named Myra who is one of the last few people who are free from winter. Now they're trying to get their magical conduit back together so that they can sort of take back their kingdom. This is their journey to trying to figure out what to do, what do they do next, and Myra is trying to prove to herself that she deserves to be in this kingdom, like she means something, and she is just sort of trying to prove herself throughout the book, and it's great to see. And I would definitely recommend it. First, I'm just going to go over my rating, then we will talk about the theories that Alex and I came up with throughout the book. It was great, and we're going to talk about all of it. Characters, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. I really enjoyed reading about the characters. They were very well done, and I just really enjoyed talking about them and just sort of being able to live in their world. You could really see how the characters had adapted to their environment and how they were raised a certain way just because, like, these characters are from winter, so they're going to act a certain way. And I really enjoyed that we got to see that throughout the book. And I'm going to talk about my ship later on in this video. You guys, they're adorable. Plot, I gave an 18 out of 20 or 1 star. I really liked the story. As I said, since I read this with Alex, I had a lot of fun trying to guess what was going to happen next, and I was actually pretty good at it, which we're going to talk about later. I'm going to have a whole theories section of my video where I'm going to talk about where I am in the book when I'm predicting this, and the theory that I had for what could possibly happen throughout the rest of the book. Setting, I gave a 20 out of 20 or 1 star. This was definitely one of my favorite aspects of the book. It was very well done. The world building was fantastic. You really got to feel how the system worked and how all these different communities and kingdoms just sort of survived and how they acted, and it was great. Writing, I gave a 16 out of 20 or 3/4 of a star. I really liked the way the story was told. It wasn't my favorite writing, but I did really enjoy it. Enjoyment, I gave a 20 out of 20 or 1 star. As I've already said like a bajillion times, I read this with Alex over at the Book Buzz, and that just made my reading experience so awesome. We had such a fun time discussing it, and it was great. That's all I can say about it. And that is because I was able to discuss with her everything that was happening in the book. Like, this just happened, oh my god, what? And we would talk about it, and it was great to be able to have someone, like, we're reading the same book and we're talking about it as we're reading it, and we're both at the same part, and it was great to see that because I actually had someone to talk to, whereas normally it's like, oh my god, go read this book, and then I sort of force the book on someone, but it's not the same as reading it at the same time and discussing it while you're reading it. It was great. Now we've actually decided to read a book every month together. It's going to be so much fun, and I'll talk about it more in my TBRs because I'll just be telling you guys what we're going to be reading that month because I'm super pumped. Overall, I got a 92% or 4 3/4 stars. That is the end for the non-spoilery section, just because I have my theories section up next, but I'd just like to say that my theories were pretty spot on. At least most of them were. So I probably wouldn't stay if I were you. I mean, you could stay and theorize with me, but I know what happens after, so now it's like I'll sort of be reacting to my theories, so I probably wouldn't stay. I'd go if I were you. Before you go, I'd just like to say that I would probably be in winter, just because even though I don't have the brown hair, and you can't really see it because my cheeks are really red, but I'm really pale. I don't know if you know that. I'm so pale, I don't tan. Actually, I do have a tan line right here. That golfer's tan, though. Still getting off topic. But yeah, I'm really pale. I was born in February, so, you know, winter's the place to be. If you have not read the book now, I would suggest you leave and come back to see how I theorize throughout the book once you finish reading it. So I'll see you then. Okay, bye! On to my theories section of this video. I'll tell you what page I was on at that moment, and then what theory I was having. So 120 pages into the book, I asked Alex, I was like, you know, what if she isn't who they say she is? Like, what if she's part winter, part some other kingdom? Parents tried to hide it from some people, but people like Sir, he knows, and so he wants to protect her because he knows that everyone would hate her if that got out, that she was part other kingdom, like part spring. And everyone would hate her if that happened. So they're trying to keep it away from her so she doesn't know, and so no one else can find out, and so she wouldn't obviously be able to be with Mather if everyone hated her because she was part spring or something like that. Mather doesn't want to tell her because he wants to try to protect her since she's different, and he loves her because he knew her parents and he was friends with her parents too, so he knows them and he wants to sort of protect her because he knows she's different, because obviously their parents were friends, so they know each other. So he wants her to be safe. I got part of it there, you know, like she's different. There's a reason that they're not telling her something. I was getting some of it there. 180 pages in, I'm thinking, what if Myra's Hannah? That could be why she's having all these dreams about Hannah, because she's trying to remember her past life. Like maybe she's been shrunken by the magic of Angra, and so Angra's magic has shrunken her down to a toddler, and that is what happened. So then she can't remember anything as she's growing up until she has reached the age she was before she was de-aged to remember everything. And her dreams are ways of trying to remember what's going on and what had happened to her before she had been de-aged. So obviously, if this is true, she could not be with Mather because Mather is her son, and that would be terrible. No. The other people, like Sir, told her that she was just a peasant, and her parents were just peasants to protect her so that she wouldn't actually know she was queen, and that other people wouldn't know, so she would be protected and no one else would know. And that is why the necklace that Mather gave her would have meant so much to her. Getting a bit closer now, because I'm like, you know, maybe she's related to Hannah, maybe she is Hannah. That's pretty close. 302 pages in is when we sort of narrowed down to a T. I think she could be Hannah's daughter, because when Hannah was going to sacrifice herself, she was pregnant, and it was never explicitly said that it was Mather. Myra just sort of assumed it was Mather in Hannah's stomach, but what if it's Myra in her stomach? And at the same time, I was sort of thinking that if she was the princess, then maybe she could use the half of the conduit that was on Angra's neck and sort of harness its power, even though it wasn't like she wasn't touching it or anything. But she was desperate enough that she could like use the magic from half the conduit to use the magic to protect herself and help others. That's what I was thinking at page 302. And she is Hannah's daughter, so you know, I was spot on there. Not about the conduit thing. She did not use half the conduit. We'll talk about that a bit in a couple seconds after I finish talking about this. At that point, I was thinking that Mather was already born, and so she had 2 kids. Even though I didn't get the Mather part, I got the part that Myra was her daughter. Oh, with like 100-something pages left of the book, I got that plot twist. Oh, yes. Now, 334 pages, 32 pages later, I say to Alex, what if the magic from the locket had gone into Myra? Which is why she keeps feeling the snow and everything inside her when all of these events are happening. And, you know, that was like 20 to 30 pages before we actually learned that she was the conduit because the locket had broken, so it had gone into the queen. Wow. I am talented, guys. I'm gonna be like the book fortune teller. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen in the book. It's gonna be grand. And I feel like I should do more of these, like, as I'm reading the book. This is what I think might happen. And I think that's why I enjoyed buddy reading this with Alex so much, because I was able to do that, and I was able to say, well, what if this is going to happen? And she would reciprocate, and she never thought any of them were, like, crazy. Like, when I was thinking that Hannah was Myra and that they were like maybe the same person, I was like, this is really weird. Like, I don't know if this, whatever happened, this probably isn't happening at all. But I was like, you know what, I'll tell Alex, like, you know, this probably is never going to happen, but maybe. And then I showed her my theory, and she was like, oh my gosh, that's like such a great theory idea. And she was like, if you're right, we're sort of throwing a party. I really liked having that ability to sort of talk with her about what I thought was going to happen, and just sort of seeing what actually happened, and sort of seeing what happened that I was saying was going to happen, because, you know, I'm pretty spot on for a book teller. And I had a great time doing it. And nothing more really for the theories part that I want to talk about with you guys, but I had one last parting note of information before I left you guys for this video. And that is my ship for this book, Snow Like Ashes. My ship is Theron and Myra. Thyra, Myron. They are going to be endgame. They are so cute together, and they're great. And I really think that they are going to get together in the end. I mean, I talked with Alex about this. She disagrees. She thinks Mather is going to get with Myra. I like Mather. I love their relationship together. But Theron, oh my god, guys. He and Myra are so cute, and I think that they really have a chance of getting together because, you know, she kissed Theron in the middle of the book, and Mather, it sort of annoys me with the fact that he never actually tells her how he feels, so, you know, can't reciprocate if you don't know how you feel. Just tell her! Theron was really open about it, and he was so nice to her, and that's just why I really like him, and he knew all those servants in the castle, and he knew all about them, and just, oh, I love Theron. And he really needs to go with Myra. They kissed, they held hands, she actually felt something for him, whereas later on in the book, Mather, she held his hand before something was happening, and she said, you know, I don't really feel like this is just because I'm his friend. I would have done this for anyone in the group. And she said that it was as a friend, because she didn't really feel anything for him anymore. So obviously, she said she felt something for Theron when that happened, that kiss and everything. So, Theron is endgame. Thyra, Myron. Yes, for the win! Okay, guys, that is all I have to talk with you guys about today. So I'll see you guys very soon with another video. It'll probably be my Paper Towns review, book talk thing. So I will see you guys then. Okay, bye! There are 4 seasons. There are 4 seasons. You guys know that. She could be the daughter of Hannah.